Welcome back to a new video. On today's episode we're looking at probably the most promising Dragon Ball game in a long time, Dragon Ball FighterZ. I've been a big fan of Dragon Ball for the best part of my life, and played plenty of the dozens of games that have spawned over the last 30 years, with some good like the Budokai or Tenkaichi series, and some not so good like Sagas or Battle of Z. So what's exciting about this new release? Well, for starters, it's made by Arc System Works, that for those of you not familiar with their previous works, created the BlazBlue and Guilty Gear series that are very well regarded fighting games. The new game is also a very different one to the recent Xenoverse series, set purely on a 2D plane and aims to be a competitive fighting game, which was something the Xenoverse games certainly weren't really attempting in their design. Artistically, it also really captures the anime series, almost perfectly, and is absolutely the best any Dragon Ball game has looked so far. It's really incredible to look at and silky smooth thanks to running at 60 frames per second. No doubt an element that will be very important to you if you're a fan of the show is how many and what characters are in the roster. So far 23 have been confirmed, with potentially more before release, with those you'd absolutely expect in any self-respecting Dragon Ball game like Goku, Vegeta, Krillin or Piccolo, as well as slightly less iconic ones such as Yamcha or Tien. Even some characters from the current Super series make an appearance like Goku Black, Hit or Beerus. A few are also accompanied by others that, although not directly controllable, are present during certain moves and combos. To give some examples, Android 18 is accompanied by Android 17, Captain Ginyu with other members of the Ginyu Force, and Goku Black with Zamasu. Dragon Ball FighterZ doesn't boast a huge lineup in comparison to, say, Tenkaichi 3's massive 98 character lineup, but that's not a bad thing at all. In fact, it's actually arguably a good thing, as there were a lot of clones in that game, whereas each of the 23 shown for FighterZ all appear to be completely unique, with totally different animations and movesets that differentiate them from one another. Battles are based on a 6-button system of light, medium, heavy and special attacks, along with 2 buttons dedicated to assists, and always consists of 3 versus 3. You'll be able to tag characters in and out in the same way as Marvel vs Capcom 3, which if you played that game you'll know introduces a lot more strategy into each fight, largely down to having to keep an eye on and balance 3 individual health bars. Choosing your team won't be as simple as picking your favourites if you want to win. Different characters excel in different areas, as well as have different assist functions. For example, Majin Buu is a slower but heavier hitting character than the likes of, say, Teen Gohan, and has an assist that creates distance, launching an opponent into the air, while others such as Krillin have one that has an entirely different use, healing a character with a Senzu beam. Despite trying to be a competitive fighting game, it does look to be very accessible and easy to get into for more casual players to the genre like myself, but also one that requires time and skill to master, which is a great mix, allowing people who are simply a fan of the show to jump in and match up their most favoured characters, whilst also giving plenty of depth for fighting game veterans to delve into. As you'd expect, you have your usual modes you find in any fighting game, like arcade, versus and online bouts, but most interesting is the story mode that takes place across 3 arcs. Instead of just a simple retelling of the series, it introduces a completely original one, focusing heavily on Android 16, who's been mysteriously revived, as well as a brand new character that's designed by Akira Toriyama himself just for this game, Android 21. The Z Fighters also have to contend with an army of super android replicas of themselves that in true Dragon Ball fashion are threatening the existence of the world. In between the cutscenes and battles, you'll move across a board game like map that is very similar to one that featured all the way back in Budokai 2. It's here you have the option to move to different spaces to try to save various allies, find and unlock new skills, or just fight different enemies to build up your level, as the mode features some light RPG elements to keep you occupied. It's also worth mentioning you'll have the choice between both English and Japanese voiceovers in the game. Personally, I'll be going with English, as that's how I grew up watching the series, but I know many of you prefer the original voice acting and will be going with that option. Dragon Ball FighterZ releases on the 26th of January for the PS4, Xbox One and PC, and has an open beta on PlayStation and Xbox on the 14th, or a day earlier if you pre-ordered, so not long at all before you can try it out for yourself if you want to. Lastly, Arc System Works have announced slightly controversially that 8 characters will be released as DLC in the future, which did make some people understandably unhappy because they felt they were holding back some from the game that could or should have been there on release. With that said, so far I am really happy with the roster. I don't think they skimped out at all, so I don't think anyone should be too angry about it, but that's up to you to decide. Let me know if you'll be checking out Dragon Ball FighterZ or not, and be sure to stay tuned to the channel as I'll have a review up on the game not long after its release. That's it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content just like this. Click the thumbnail on the left or right for another of my videos. Thanks for watching as usual, and I'll see you on the next video.